Oh, guys, how you doing? Let me get a few more people in here. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Nice and sunny. Woke up, it's like 57 degrees. Come out here and turn the heater on and started watching videos. Yep. Caught up, watched Dennis's uh, streams from last night. Saw I had a new guest on stage, Christopher. Christopher's from up in PA. Well, actually, New Jersey. He said he's one of Matt's buddies. They work together, same company. He may be a possible streamer on Truckers TV. We'll see how that works out. If you got it, Andrew was just streaming a little while ago. So, what's everyone up to today? Anything? Got any plans? Anything planned to do? Myself, not a thing. Sit here at the house. Same old, same old. I was sitting here just a few minutes ago thinking, boy, it'd be a beautiful morning to get out and do a little walking. I decided to get on here and say howdy, see how everyone's doing. Hey, Todd, how you doing? Watching your grandson. What's he doing out of school? Is there something going on that I didn't hear about? Like some kind of, well, shoot, my brain went blank. Columbus Day. Okay. Should have known better. It had to be something going on. I keep used to keep up with holidays by my brother. He works for the state highway, and when there's a one of them holidays, he doesn't go to work. That's usually how I keep up with him. But he's working nights. He gets home around 5 or 6 in the morning, so I can't keep up with him now. I figure he's over at the house just a snoozing away. He leaves his house about 5 or 6 in the afternoon, early evening, and he gets home like say 5 or 6. Sometimes it'll be about 8 o'clock, depending on what kind of job they're on. You know, I had to work a few nights We worked a shift one time. We were on a big water main blowout, and we worked for 36 hours straight. Yeah, that wasn't any fun. I finally crawled up on one of the backhoes. Took me about a 30-minute nap. Woke up ready to get after again. And then I had to work. Actually, I worked a few nights because I filled in for one of the plant operators at the other treatment plant. And I worked his shift. I worked my shift during the day and then went over to their plant and worked their shift at night. Our plant, we didn't have to man at night when we got heavy rains. So their plant, they did. And we had quite a bit of rain, like 10 or 12 inches in a couple of days. So they were just totally exhausted, both operators over there. I said, hey, I'll go over there and fill in for you. So I did. And I've done that a few times. Hey, Robert, what's up? Which, working at their treatment plant's not that bad. You couldn't go to sleep. You had to stay up because there were steps you had to take through. You had to go out, check the sludge levels in the clarifiers, make sure they stayed down, and if they didn't, you had to turn valves here and there. So it wasn't nothing major. It just basically babysitting the plant until the flows went down and the plant, settled back down. So certain times of the year, them guys would work. Crud. Wouldn't be nothing for them to work 24-hour shifts all the time. Up for about an hour. Well, I got up about 5 o'clock this morning. Mr. Fortune jumped up on my legs and freaked me out. Woke me up, and I thought, well, I wonder what. I looked at the clock and saw it was 5. I said, well, I can get up. I've been staying up late and sleeping late. I don't know. It was 10:30 or no, it was after 11 last night when I finally went to the bedroom and got my recliner, fell asleep. Let's do this for a little bit. Let's do this for a little bit. Man, it's beautiful this morning. Got a bunny rabbit that triggers off a couple of my cameras at night. Well, right now they're calling for some storms. I think Friday or Saturday here. We'll wait and see. Hey, Todd, I've seen, but they had a shootout there in South Carolina. 4 people perished and 10 others wounded, I think it was. That's crazy. I'm going to tell you what, these people are they're outlaws. And until the court systems get cleaned up and start giving the criminals what they deserve, it's not going to change. It is crazy, crazy, crazy. I got 74 degrees right now here. I seen this drone footage of there in Tennessee where that munitions plant blew up. Yeah, at a I can't remember the name of the bar, but I saw that. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But anyway, I seen the drone footage of it, and I'll tell you what, wasn't nothing left. Totally, totally destroyed it. Nothing. Look, in fact, from the drone footage, it looked like they went in there with a dozer and cleaned it all up. Wow. That was just unbelievable. Hey there, Andrew. What's happening? I was just on your stream. I waited till you pulled in to get some go-go juice and some groceries for you, belly. Been seeing some deer here in the mornings, in the evenings. They just walking around, and got a couple of little ones. They just like to play. Got to keep an eye out for my nephew. Um, I don't know that he hunted last year up here. I don't really remember. Last few years, he hadn't done a lot of hunting back behind the house. If he does go hunting, he goes on the other side of Hot Springs. He's got a place over there. The one in Tennessee, I don't remember the name of it. It could be, I think there was 18 that perished. That was just unfreaking believable. I just couldn't believe what the aftermath was. Like I said, it looked like they had went in there with a dozer and excavator and totally cleaned it up. Nothing there. And when they say they could hear the explosion miles away, it is unfreaking real. You know, we have during the wintertime, we'll have transformers explode, and you can hear them down the road, and all of a sudden you lose your electricity. What was, oh, the pipeline. You know, we've got one of them big cross country natural gas pipelines that runs not far from the house. In fact, it's right there at the junction of 5 and 7, which is 3 miles from the house. And you can actually hear when they have to let off pressure off them lines every once in a while. And they've got a pressure relief valve on these lines through here. and they'll pop that thing, and man, you can hear sound like a jet rocket. Yeah, yeah, isn't that crazy? I seen an article just a little while ago about one of the former employees that worked there. I didn't read the whole article. I didn't open it up. I just seen the captions on it, and apparently there was a small fire there that he had put out himself, but that's only going by what I seen on Facebook. But luckily, he wasn't there no more. He didn't work there. There's going to be all kinds of posts about it and all on Facebook and YouTube, all the social media pages. We'll wait and see what happens. Well, hello there, Will Williamson, Jason Lamb, Cindy Newell, Todd, and Kathy Ferguson. I hadn't seen you in a while, Kathy. How you doing? Hope all y'all are doing well. Well, if we could get Christopher and on board the stream, that'll be pretty cool. Have some more content being created. I had to do a little work this morning on the StreamYard. I did a few things and excuse me. I went over on YouTube page and checked out things. Actually, on YouTube, we're on Truckers Television channel. If you're here and you don't know all the pages that Truckers TV has, we have the, what are they called? Let's get in here and see. We have Dennis B. Adams Jr. page. We got Truckers Television page, Truckers Television channel page, Truckers TV Transportation LLC page, Veterans Life Corp page, Truckers TV Live page, Truckers TV page, and then Truckers Television channel on YouTube. Yeah, we got quite a few. Hey, Christian, how you doing? Welcome. I can't pin these links to come on stage for some reason, so I'll periodically post them to our pages, and if you'd like to come on stage with me, you're more than welcome. Go up and say howdy to us all. I seen that Israel and Hamas, isn't it, have reached an agreement over in their part of the world, ceasefire and an agreement to the hostages are supposed to be released, the living ones. I thought that's pretty cool. We can all thank our present administrator, Mr. Donald Trump, for all of that being done. That's good to see, Christian. Good to hear that. A lot of positive things happening right now due to President Trump and his administration. I think he's got the best in my lifetime that ever was. And it's crazy that all these accomplishments that he's making, that you have the left side that's just totally trying to destroy it. I can't understand that. I just cannot. And I seen that oil was down. Was it right at or less than $50 a barrel? So they're saying, look out, we'll be seeing fuel prices going down, or regular prices at or below $2 a gallon. That's pretty good. And not only will it affect regular fuels, the diesel, the cooling fuels, and all of that, which will be good. So I cannot understand why they are so dead set and destroyed. And then the only thing I'd figure is they hate Trump so much that they're willing to do anything to destroy him in what he's working for. I said it the other night. I just think that America should be America, and no left or right. It all should be the American party and be done with it, It'll never happen that way, but I wished it would. But that's my own opinion. Everyone has their own opinions and what they think they should do. And I just look at having a peaceful country, The former administrative is let it get out of hand. Our legal system is out of hand and out of control. They've let lawyers get in there and twist the wording up in the Constitution and legalities that judges are afraid to impose what needs to be done. It has to stop. It really does. I'm all for going back to the old Western days. Have a town square with a public hanging. Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all watch court TV or not. Yeah. you They can have all the evidence to prosecute anyone, and lawyers have found loopholes, whether it's in wording. I watched one last Thursday or Friday, and this lawyer, well, it may have been yesterday, a video where this lawyer tried to twist how the arresting officer had did his report, and I'm sitting here shaking my head, and I know good and well that judge is just keeping his composure, and I'm going, you've got to be kidding. He's standing there in front of this judge, the prosecuting deputy DA, was standing there beside this defense attorney, listening to this guy go on about this. It's his client, his third DWI, DUI, however you driving while intoxicated case, and I'm going, the evidence is there. He blew 2 point something on this third one. The previous two convictions, they were actually downsized to like reckless driving or stuff like that, but they still show up as a DUI, reduced to lower charges. So it's actually his third DUI. Yeah, I'm going, dude, shut up. Finally, the judge stopped him, and he says, look, it's his third DUI, his third one. So the judge, the defense attorney was trying to keep the judge from revoking the guy's bond because he was on probation for his first one. The second was still open case, and then he got a third one. He had one of them devices that they wear to keep tracks whether you're using alcohol or not. He was wearing one of them. He had bond violations with tampering with it 3 times. And the defense attorney was just doing anything to get the guy from getting his bond revoked. Judge looked at him and says, no, I don't care. You can say or do whatever you want. I'm revoking his bond. And they cuffed him and stuffed him. But that's the way it's going. You know, all these defense attorneys are just doing anything, twisting wording and all of that to keep their clients from going to jail. If you do the crime, you need to do the time. Just plain and simple. But that's the thing the country has to do is stop allowing that to happen. And all these Democrats, left wing, whatever you want to call them, are crying because our government is sending National Guard to their cities and states to battle all the crime in these cities that are out of control. And they're all crying about it. We're suing the government. We're doing that. Well, good luck with that. Yeah. Just good luck with it. Excuse me for just 1 second. All right, I'm back. I had to get me something to drink. Get dry throat. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. I had a couple of things. Yeah. I'll put that up there. There you go. Look at all this. Look at that. We got this right here. Got that one. Yeah. Isn't that cool? Have I said how beautiful it is today? I look at it, now you've heard me say it 100 times. If I wake up in the morning, it's going to be a hell of a day. It's going to be a great day. But if I don't wake up, it ain't going to be too good. I wished I could remember our last podcast I did with Dennis and Andrew. We were sitting here trying to figure out jokes. Dennis and I even both went online and tried to find some good old jokes. I could not find them. I went to 3 or 4 different websites and I was reading their jokes. Nah, you gotta be kidding. these aren't funny. They're stupid. I wish I could remember some of them old farmer's daughter jokes. Yeah, that's what I wish I remember. Them nighttime stuff like that. Let's see what pops up. I got a clearer head today, and let's see. Let's see what we got. What's a let me uh, what's the secret to having a smoking hot body in your old age? Anybody know that one? Oh. Nobody know that one. What's the secret to having a smoking hot body in our old age? Well, the answer is cremation. Oh, now that's about the only good one this has. How many retirees does it take to change a light bulb? One, but it'll take all day. What's the worst thing about what's worse than a middle age? Knowing you'll grow out of it. Jeez. What's the key to structured retirement? A rigid nap schedule. When is the best time to start thinking about your retirement? Before the boss does. What do you call someone who enjoys Mondays? Retired. I don't know if any of these are funny or not. Most of them don't sound it to me. Why do retirees smile so much? Because they can't hear a word you're saying. Why should you marry someone older than you? As your looks fade, so will their eyesight. Well, that's the best they got on that page. Oh my goodness. Oh, you gotta be kidding. That ain't no jokes. See this one. I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't. Yeah, I was talking uh, just a few minutes ago, and uh, uh, Todd Tefler, he is telling me that he was taking care of his grandson today, and I was trying to figure out what holiday it was, and he told me it was Columbus Day. And like I told him, I used to keep up if there's a holiday because my brother's truck would be parked out here in the morning, at his house. But he's been working nights for a few months now, so his truck's at home now before I even get up. And then I get to thinking every once in a while, I think, hey, I wonder if he's sick. And I bump to the head, tell me, no, he's home from work. He worked at night. Oh, I've been trying to find a hot dog. My taste has changed so bad for food. Even the Petit Jean brand hot dogs. They stopped taking the dyes out of the hot dogs, Petit Jeans, and they're nearly white. And used to like Petit Jean. They were my favorite hot dogs. They were quite a bit more expensive than the rest of them, but they were really good, and I paid for it. Well, the last two times I bought the Petit Jean hot dogs, I don't like them no more. I don't know if it's just the fact that they're not red anymore. Could that be it? I have no clue. They say food, 50% of it's how it looks, and the other 50% is flavor. Yeah, it could be the factor. It could be the same ingredients, just different different color. Well, anyway, I was looking on my Walmart trying to get my order together last week. Yeah, last week. And I seen that Oscar Mayer has they call them little smokies, but they're hot dogs and they're sausage instead of regular hot dogs. They're sausage, but they look like hot dogs. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. You guys might have seen them before, but anyway, I went ahead and got a pack of them, and was it Saturday night, I think it was. I pulled a couple out, put them in the nucleator, and heated them up. And I'm gonna tell you what, they're pretty dang good. That's what I'll be buying from now on. I really like them. Put them on a piece of that universal bread. I don't buy buns. That's a waste of my money. I just use the universal white bread. And I tell you what, them things are fit to eat. I've learned a lot since I've been retarded. And it's like what is that? is it Johnsonville that makes the little Smokies cocktail weenies? You know, the Christmas party and Fifth Saturday meeting or dinner on the ground kind of vittles, little beefs, cocktail sausages. I like them, don't get me wrong, but I just can't see myself paying the money that they want for them. Well, anyway, I bought Acreage Farm this time, and pretty dang good. Like them Oscar Mayer sausages. I've been wanting a good old hamburger. That's what I've been wanting. I've been wanting me a good old greasy hamburger, but shoot, I got some hamburger patties in the freezer, but I don't fry food. I hadn't fried food, and I couldn't tell you when. Been several years now. And probably the only fried food that I wished there's a few cube steaks. Just fry me up some old, either pork or beef, either one. I like them both, and that, of course, bacon and eggs. I crave bacon and eggs every day, every day. I'll buy me a half a dozen eggs and put them in the fridge, and they'll sit there till I just throw them away. I'll never ever touch them after I put them in there. The bacon, I just put it in the microwave on paper plates, and there you have it. It's not the same. Not the same. I even bought the already cooked bacon and just heat it up in the microwave. And I just don't like it. I've got 2 packs of it in the fridge that'll probably sit there. I'll try to give it to boy. You pay a lot of money for that pre-cooked bacon. I'm not kidding, especially the name brand. For what you get, that's a ripoff. But you pay for convenience. No, you don't. It don't take you any longer to put bacon on a paper plate covered with paper towels, napkins, put it on 3, depending on the bacon, anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 minutes, and cook it. You don't have no pans to clean up. You just throw the paper plates in the garbage. I know you're not saving bacon grease, which I used to love, but like I said, I don't fry food, so I don't need it. See, eggs and bacon, cube steaks, and a good old greasy hamburger. That's the 3 things that I wish I still made. And the thing is, I have an electric skillet, a brand spanking new one that I bought because I don't cook on a stove. I don't use the stove, period. And I can use that electric skillet and be done with it. Just unplug it, rinse it out, and put it up. Yeah, I'd seen that Dennis said that his engine in his BMW blew up. It done blowed up. He got that Honda though. I didn't ask him if he sold that truck yet. Hadn't heard. I seen that he dropped the price on it. And for what he is asking, that was a steal, that truck. I'm not kidding you. I think he got it down to 12,000. Yeah, a person would be crazy to pass that deal up. It wasn't a brand new one, but it was something. Hell, I'd thought about buying it just to have it here at the house, you know. Take the fifth wheel and all that off and slap a tag on it and be done with it. If I wanted to go to the doctor's office, I'd pull up there in that big old truck, doctor's office. I still got my CDL. I'm not going to turn loose of it. They'll have to pull it out of my cold, dead hands before I turn loose of it. I worked too hard to get it. Yeah, I seen last night that you had said that you had to replace yours, but that wasn't cheap. Oh, is it still there? Yeah, I hadn't talked to Dennis much. Like I said the other day, that I talked to him. Well, when I talked to him about coming back to Truckers TV, that was actually the first time. And well, after I left, he reached out to me a few times. I didn't talk to him on the phone or anything. He just chatted back and forth. But other than that, when he asked me to come back, that's the first time I talked to him in person. You know, so I did. I don't. I haven't talked to him to ask him much questions. The other night when we was on the your chat room was the first time I'd actually talked to him in quite a while. Well, I'll start out good with a picture on me or me in person, but all this talking I'm doing making me cough. Can't keep my throat watered down enough. I know back when I had that old Chevy truck, I replaced the motor in it twice and get a long block back then. It was what the first one was like $800 and the second one was 15. I can only imagine what they cost today. And then you got these new motors. I figure you got a four cylinder or six in your car with all that electronic stuff on it. I can only imagine how many thousands of dollars that cost. And back when I got mine, they were rebuilds. They wasn't crate motors. I couldn't back then. A crate motor was like $4,000 for a long block. So I'm probably looking at $10,000 or $12,000 for today. You know, at least for a crate motor. I'm probably doing more damage on my Camry than with it sitting out there for all this time rather than driving it. You know, I still got $70-something thousand or 70-something thousand miles on that Camry 2012 with 4,000 what you paid for it. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. A lot of money, don't get me wrong. Or is that four-cylinder what you're talking about? Four-cylinder. I have to sit and think what I just said. Keep up with the comment. Let's see, I had a 67 Mustang that I put a motor in. And I paid $1,000 for that motor. And it was a piece of junk when I sold it. I didn't have, after I put that motor in it, it's a rebuild, of course. You know, kid, but that's what it was, a kid when I had it. I had it before my old Chevy truck. But anyway, I put that money in it. And it was junk. I put a lot of money, a lot of thousands of dollars in restoring that car. It was a beautiful looking pony. I had it painted hickory brown with gold trim. And that hickory color was, it was a new thing that they were doing back then, to where it was like you could stick your hand right in it. It was that clear. I had it just total restoration from the ground up. And man, I'd give a left nut right now to have it back. It was a beautiful car. But the motor it was trash. And I couldn't afford to buy a crate motor or have another motor, because the company that put it in, they had a couple of locations, one in Russellville and one here in Hot Springs. And I used one in Hot Springs, and the guy would not stand behind his work. And so I just turned around and sold it, and that's when I bought that Chevy pickup. And I love that truck. It was a nice truck. And problem was, I was just too hard on it. I was young, dumb, and that truck was so wore out. I'm gonna tell you what. I sold that truck finally. It sat out in the yard because I'd blown the motor up on it, and I wasn't going to put another one in it. You know, I'd been 3 motors. But that truck was so wore out. The wheel brake, I don't know if it was the brake booster or what, but it only had front brakes, and they were disc brakes. And I don't know if you ever drove a vehicle with just the front disc brakes on it. There ain't no stopping to it. I mean, it'd take you a while to get her stopped. And I would lose brake pressure. I mean, totally lose it. There's no telling how many times I come to the road I live on comes to a T to get out on the main road and not have any brakes. You know, the good Lord's looking after me because I never did have a wreck. You could pump them, do whatever you want. By God, when they gone, they gone. And the floorboards. I'd got some old signs. I found some signs, and I laid in the floorboard because you could see the ground from where you sit, and there was big holes in the floorboard. It just totally rusted out. What started that was I had carpet in it, and I'd forget to leave the windows down, and it'd rain and just get wet, and I never would dry them out or anything. It'd sit there wet carpet, and it finally just rusted out the floorboard. And if you'd step in there, the carpet was the only thing keeping me from falling through the hole. So I finally ripped that old carpet out and found me some street signs. Hey Rex, good morning, sir. Good afternoon. How you doing? And put them in that floorboard so when you stepped in it, you had something halfway solid to put your feet on. Yeah, I got some kind of call going. My neighbor pulling out his driveway. Him, the fire chief. Yeah. Yeah, I had that old Chevy for 19 years. And an old boy that worked down at the gas station, used to be at the junction of 5 and 7, he was on me. What are you going to do with that old truck? Because I wasn't driving it anymore. And he knew I still had it. I don't know. And I thought about just having my boy and her nephew go take it to the junkyard and have it salvaged. Wouldn't get a whole lot for it because most of the metal was rusted. Anyway, I told him, I'll tell you what, if you give me $400, you come and get it. I'll give you the title. And sure enough, he paid me $400 for it. I turned around and bought me a brand new gas grill for out on the porch. So that's how I come up with that nice grill back there. I don't have it no more, but I had it for quite a few years. But anyway, I went down to Chevy dealership and got me a Chevy emblem, and I put it on that gas grill. So I had me a Chevrolet grill. If that ain't no redneck doings right there, I don't know what is. That's one thing I ain't never seen is a Chevrolet grill, barbecue grill. But I had one. I hadn't had many cars in my lifetime. I had a 66 Mustang. My first car was that 66 Mustang. And I inherited it from my big brother. When he became a senior in high school, he had decided he didn't want that. He wanted a Camaro Z28. So mom and dad got him one, and I inherited that 66 Mustang. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I love that car. Beautiful. And I drove it when I was 16 up till my senior year. And well, actually my junior year. I got kicked off the football team. And I told mom and dad I didn't care. I didn't like the coach that coached it. I didn't want no part of it. And they did everything because I was ready to quit football totally. Quit school. I had had enough of school. Hey there, Joyce. How you doing? Good to see you. And so my parents done everything to keep me in school. I'm not kidding you because I was ready to call it quits. And my dad and mom sat me down one evening, and said, "Look, if you join the football team back, whatever it takes, I had to do some. They call them steps. We had our football field was up on a mountaintop. They'd cut several feet and tonnage of mountain out to put our football field. They call it a half mile high stadium. What it's called. And but anyway, to get to the top of it, there's I don't know how many stairs, probably 100 stairs. And so that was our disciplinary. What we had to do when we got in trouble on the football team was run steps. And he'd sit there and make you run every one of them. He told me to do 100 steps, which was 100 times up and down. Up and down was one. And anyway, my parents told me if I would do whatever it took to get up back on the football team, that they would buy me a new car. So I said, all right. They'd pay for it till I graduated. And after I graduated, it was on me. I said, that's good because, hey, it's a brand new car, brand spanking new. No one ever put their ass in it. So I said, okay, it's an 81 Mercury Capri RS, four banger with a 4-speed, moonroof and top, beautiful car, beautiful. I drove that. I was a dick. I ain't kidding you. I was something hot. The girls, I could not keep them off from me. They thought that was the greatest thing in the world, having that brand new car. Got to remember back then, this is a little country hick school. There was one other guy that had a brand new car. He had one of them Dodge Chargers, little 2.0 Chargers. Ugliest thing in the world, I thought. But we had our brand new cars. And that peckerhead, he'd get my car and mess with my equalizer on my radio, just totally destroy it. I have it set the way I liked it. He'd get in there and monkey with it. Take me another hour to get it set the way I liked it. Never thought about marking the face on the equalizer, the knobs. Never thought about that. Had dual exhaust run off from it. Running down the road sounded like a V8. Just a rumbling down the road. But you get your foot in that gas pedal, you could guarantee you knew it was a four banger then. You can't cover up a four banger with dual exhaust on it. I don't care what you do. You're not going to make it sound like a V8. But anyway, I had it. The year I graduated, I graduated in June, July, whenever graduating's done. I did that. And then in October, I got in trouble, got pulled over and doing something I wasn't supposed to. And car insurance went up so much I couldn't afford anymore. It was over $1,000 a month, and kid making $5.75 an hour, I couldn't afford that. Pay a car payment plus the insurance, so I had to sell it. And I sold that car for what I paid for it, or what the payoff on it was. got enough to pay it off, and I was out of it. And I bought that 67 Mustang, laid a lot of money down on it. I only gave $900 for it when I paid for the car. And then had all that work done to it, several $1,000s. And like I said, when I sold it, that motor was just trash. And then I bought that 78 Chevy pickup, Silverado, dual, or had bucket seats with big old console. Heck, big old trunk between the seats, one of them big old things. A beautiful truck when I got it. We went down not down, we went to, I can't remember, it's car auction. And we were walking through the parking lot, and the truck never went through the auction. And we seen it sitting outside. Now we walked over and looked at it, and it's exactly what I wanted, because I wanted bucket seats, a toolbox. It had the factory Chevy toolbox on the back of it. Exactly what I wanted, the color scheme, everything. And so we went over to the where you pay for the vehicle when you buy it. We went over there and asked about it, and they told us who bought it, and they've actually paged a guy over the loudspeaker, and we met him out there at the truck, and we were talking to him, and he says, I'll charge you $100 more than what I gave for it. And I said, let's do it. And so I bought it. I keep wanting to say it was in Cabot, but I don't think it was Cabot, Arkansas. But anyway, we gave him a draft, and once we paid the guy for it, once the draft went through, he actually delivered it to Hot Springs for us, and I hadn't had that truck maybe 3 months, and I worked in Hot Springs, and I went to get lunch one day from work, and Albert Pike is a 4-lane, and where I was coming back to work, I was beside it. I was on the outside lane, and there was a car on the inside lane, just a little bit in front of me. Well, there's a little Napa delivery truck whipped across, and he got the car in the inside lane didn't hit him, but I hit him. I T-boned him. He had like buckets of paint or oil in the back of his truck, and they went flying down Albert Pike, lifted that little truck off the ground. I ain't kidding you. I knocked the fire out of it. Not even 3 months in my possession. So I was without a vehicle till that got fixed. I had that motorcycle, though, that I could use, which was better than nothing, sitting home, a young kid without a vehicle. That's torture. We were out on the south side of Hot Springs. Back then, I'm trying to remember. I don't think the Hot Springs Mall was there yet. This is back when I was in school. I had that 66 Mustang. But there's an old boy that went to school. He was older than us. I think he had graduated. He had one of them, I think it was a 74 model Mustang, the Mach 2, I think it was. I love them little Mustangs like that. It come out with a 302 and had a 4-speed in it. Beautiful little car. Well, it wasn't stock. One night we was in the parking lot talking, and he said, let's run them. Let's see what that Mustang will do." I said, "Fine, but I ain't doing it for free." I said, "All right, well, how about $20? One run?" I said, "Yep, that's fine." I didn't have $20, but I thought I could take him. That little 66 Mustang was a hot little running car. And we got out there on Central. Next thing we know, there's blue lights in the back. Oh my gosh. So he went one way, I went the other, and neither one of us got caught. We met up back at the old Kmart parking lot. Got out of the cars. Man, he went crazy. "Did you say that? Bye bye." Yeah, it says there's a draw, right? Yeah. I ain't gonna say how fast we were going, but he wasn't ahead of me. I'll tell you that. When we pulled off, no, he wasn't. That little 289 was a hot little motor. Had a shift kit in the transmission. Yeah. Hey, Rex, there's no boy I worked with, Ed Golden at the motorcycle shop. He ended up with GMC with the diesel 350. And he was an older guy back then. Like, listen to me, older guy. He was like in his 50s, okay? He'd get off of work and he'd get in that truck and he would sit there and light them tires up just to prove that truck he had a hot engine, and it was a diesel. I'd never seen a diesel vehicle, period, be able to light the tires up like it did. It was unreal. He lived over Glenwood, and he drove back and forth from Glenwood to Hot Springs for work. And I knew what he made an hour, and I didn't know how he could do it. Of course, he was an engineer for a radio station, local radio station over Glenwood, little AM station radio. In fact, the guy that owned the station ended up moving out here in my part of the world, and built a radio station out here, KVRE, Voice of the Village. I listen to him. I used to listen to him when I was working. It's got that 40s and 50s and 60s, 70s music. It's not country. It's not rock. Contemporary, is it called? Some kind of, I don't know what it is, but anyway, I used to like listening to it. It was soothing when you was having to deal with the bonehead four-wheeler drivers. I bet it would. I know his would. Yeah, right. 21. I wouldn't want to be 21. Because when I was 21 years old, I was sitting here without a driver's license for 3 months. Paying that big old hefty fine I had. The money wasn't a problem. I had the cash. It was sitting here without a vehicle to drive. That was the worst part of it. No, I wouldn't do 21 again. I said it was only a few months out of high school. Okay, I was 20 years old when I got in trouble. So it was a couple of years out of school. Because it was right before my 21st birthday. Yeah. Heck, out here you go under a tree. You'd lose signal. And during the night, a full moon, I don't know what it was in my area. Nah, it wouldn't be good reception out here. And when the FM converters come out, I mean, I was at Radio Shack. First thing when I heard about an FM converter, Radio Shack got my business. Then I graduated up to an 8-track. I had under the dash FM 8-track. And it had rewind. Yeah, I'd never even thought of an 8-track having a rewind. But it did. I could sit there and just wear 8-track out on one song. That thing would be so thin it'd just break. Then I got that Capri. It had a AM/FM cassette, which by the time I got that Capri, my dad was the general manager of a Honda car dealership, Subaru. They had Honda, Subaru, Starcraft campers, Honda and Suzuki motorcycles. Big deal, big company. And he was the general manager, so he wasn't hurting for money. Whatever brother and I wanted, we got. So we got Kenwood stereo systems. I did. His brother, I think he got a Pioneer. Big old amp, big old speakers. Heck, I popped that moonroof out at night, and you could hear me coming to the house when you turn on my road, which is a mile and a half from the main road. Mom and Dad could hear me coming home. That son of a gun was loud. And a buddy of my brother's, he had a Blah Punk. And back then, Blah Punk was, if you had a Blah Punk, whatever, you were something. I ended up buying that Blah Punk amp equalizer from him. I put that in that car, and I'm going to tell you what. Oh my gosh. Total difference, daylight and dark, between that Kenwood and that Blah Punk. If Blah Punk was still around, I don't know, they may still be, but I would recommend that if there's still quality the way it was back then. There wasn't nothing on the market compared to it. And I hated to see it go, but that was everything that was in the car when I sold it stayed in the car. I didn't take nothing out. I had that Michelob gear shifter head. The old boy that I did business with there at the motorcycle shop. He worked for Anheuser-Busch. And he come in there one day. He knew I had a stick shift in that car. He had looked at the car. And he come in there one day and he brought that a box in there. He says, "Here, I'm giving this to you." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Just open it up." I opened it up, and it was a Anheuser-Busch beer tap, lever handle, gold eagle. I mean, beautiful. And he said, "I got that for you to put on that shifter." I said, it won't fit. He says, yes, it will. Take it out there and put it on there. And I did. To this day, I wish I wouldn't have left it in that car. I wish I would have took it off, put the factory knob back on it. Now, some of that music's not bad. There's a couple of bands. Ace Cannon, he was more country. I liked Ace Cannon. Some of the big bands, I like them. I think our era called them elevator music and stuff. But I liked it. There wasn't nothing wrong with it. But since we've lived out in the area I live in, it's really, I'm not kidding you, it's grown so much. Used to, when you turn off of the main highway onto the road we live on, the roads were the trees. In fact, it's still that way between my house and the main road. The trees are right against the road and they've covered each other, the limbs. So it's like you're driving through a tunnel. It's really cool. But in the wintertime, if you get bad weather, ice and stuff, it takes forever for that stuff to thaw off the road. And the county doesn't come out here and blade the roads. And it's asphalt, so it's very treacherous. It takes forever for it to thaw. You'd be better off to go the other way towards Highway 7 through the Ranch Estates to get to a main road. It's not bad in that Camry. You can push the anti-slip or whatever, the traction button, and it does good on it. But I'd call into work. I can't get to work. I had that Blazer sitting out here. Back then it ran and there was nothing wrong with it. In fact, I used to drive it to work. The wife would drive the Camry and I'd drive the Blazer. And I'd call in, I can't make it down the driveway, and here I am with that 4-wheel drive. If I wanted to get down that driveway, I damn sure would have. But I'd call in, make excuses. You seen that? It's an old cartoon picture that Facebook floated around for a while, where the guy's calling into work. He's got a tree, just a little branch out in his driveway. He calls into work, says, I can't get out. I got a tree across my driveway. Well, I was about the same way. And I do live on a hill. Don't get me wrong. You have to come up a hill on my driveway. It's not a flat or anything. It's a hill. I forgot about that old Plymouth Breeze. That was a piece of shit. It was right out of warranty, and the lady sold it. I worked with her at the company I worked for, and she was selling it, so I bought it. At the time, I liked the car, but I didn't have it 9 months. I had to have the McPherson strut replaced, and that was $1,000 right there. Warranty didn't cover it. That's $1,000 out of my pocket. Then a year and a half later, the air conditioner went out. I had to pay to get it done, and 2 years later, I had to have a head job on it. It was just a piece of junk. I put more money in that car than what it's worth, and I could have bought a new one for what I paid for it and put into it. and it was front wheel drive. I couldn't get up the driveway. Mom had that Dodge Caravan, which was a lot heavier vehicle. They didn't have a bit of problem coming up and down the driveway. But that little Plymouth Breeze, you just couldn't get it up. One night we was without electricity. I got in the car and I jumped in and tried to find where the line was either down or where the outage was out. And I was in the driveway trying to get up at one. And the old boy that lives a few houses down from us, he used to work for the electric company, Energy. And so he knew what to look for and how to take care of it. And he was coming on the road and seen me trying to get up my driveway. He pulled in my driveway. He had a little I think it was a Toyota Jeep, whatever that old Jeeps are. And he actually pushed that Plymouth up my driveway in that Jeep. I'd have never thought that, but he did. He pushed me up it. And he went back home. He took care of the problem. He actually fixed the outage. He has he had the pole climbing boots, or whatever. Oh no, I do not listen to today's music. Do not. I think it's like you said, ain't worth a nickel. All of my music that I have saved on my library is from the 80s, 90s, and as far as country music, it's the 70s and 80s. That's my era, and that's what I stick with. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was a Toyota Jeep. But he owned a hardware store. Hey man,
Hey, man, you are on the Curtis Show. Today's guest, we got the cowboy.
I did not recognize you.
Oh, I had my readers on, man.
Well, it's been so long since I've seen you. I didn't even recognize you.
And I keep my hair at, I don't know, a 3, so, you know.
Well, thank you for coming on stage with me. I appreciate it.
I knew you were on YouTube, so I said, let me try that way, because the other way, Facebook, he wanted me to come on that, not last time, but the time before. And there's, I don't know, sometimes it was doing something with Facebook. It was saying, we'll send a code to your email. I'm like, what?
Wow. That's kind of like Roy talking about he can't get on anymore.
Well, YouTube was easy because all you had to, I don't know, something with your camera or something. So you hit whatever.
Yeah.
And it was easier to get on YouTube than Facebook.
Well, see, that's the way I am. Of course, I use this computer, and it's like you were talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
All it does is ask. The first time I get on, it asks me to get access to my camera.
There we go.
My camera. Yeah. My camera and microphone.
Yeah. It said that.
Once I do it the first time, that's it. I don't ever have to do it again. And then
I know Dennis will be like, what? He got on for you? No,
that's what I think he's learning because he always used his telephone, but since he's at home now and
Yeah,
using it on his computer, he's seeing. He just never understood when I tell him what I'm seeing or how I'm having to do things.
yeah.
He thought I was full of baloney because
No,
it's
it's
totally different.
yeah, because I've always done the stuff from the phone. I don't have a computer.
Right. And so what you see, like right now, you on stage, what you're seeing is totally different than what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
figured I'd come up here, surprise you. Surprise! I'm still kicking.
well, I thank you. I appreciate it. Well, there's Miss Judy. Judy.
I know old Henry. He better come in here. I'm surprised he ain't in there saying something because if my team loses tonight, well then his Patriots will be in first place because they beat us last week. Woo.
Let's see if old Henry's even up.
I'm shit. He should be up at one something. I got up. I don't know. I got up at 20 to 11. Well, that's the second time. The first time I'm watching my mom's dog. I'm surprised she didn't come get him yesterday. She's like, I'm going home. I'm tired. I was like, okay. So I
Oh,
joked with her. Said, what? I'm keeping him till the food runs out.
there,
I don't know. It don't matter.
miss.
I ain't doing a whole lot today anyhow.
He's not.
Watched Auburn Saturday night, and all we got was 10 points. Lost another one.
Did you see the hoopla about Arkansas and
Yeah,
Tennessee? They're
but,
they're saying, "Oh, we would have won if the referees didn't do this or that." I thought you
oh,
big crybabies.
oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Hog Nation. If you look it up on Facebook, you'll see
Yeah,
it.
because I know they got rid of their coach and got interim coach. I can't think of
Petrino,
it. Yeah,
the that dude. I don't like him. I
yeah,
liked him when he was coaching the first time, but after the motorcycle wreck that he had with somebody that wasn't his wife,
yeah. I remember you saying that.
well, that's when I lost respect for the man because he was having an affair on his wife and he got caught, and it took a motorcycle wreck to get caught.
Yeah, that's kind of like what was that? That concert? I can't think of it what it was, but the CEO that was on Kiss Cam.
Oh yeah. uh,
Yeah,
who the
that's
heck
funny.
was
I
I
can't
can
I can't remember, but I remember it was just not too long ago.
she's suing Major League Baseball and
Oh
oh
yeah, I think that was another one. They called her the Phillies Karen or something. This that second one.
yeah, Philly's Karen. Yeah, that was her.
Yeah, it's funny.
Well, she shouldn't have been acting a fool on national TV. That
But
was her own.
I know this winter you better not get snow and I better not get snow. I don't want it.
I don't want no snow.
No, I'm saying last year you got it, I got it, Pensacola, Florida got it.
Well, maybe we got our snow for the next 10 years.
I hope so.
I know we got. I can't remember. I think it was 10 inches at one time last year.
Yeah, 'cause
10 or
you
10 or
had to
11 inches.
you had to replace a light in your
Well
well
house.
tank.
Yeah.
I
Now that
remember that. And your water froze up.
oh yeah. That's the thing. If we keep the light bulb in the well house, usually I'll leave one or two sinks dripping in the house. I won't have
Yeah.
any problem with it.
So that must be like Motel 6 will leave a light on for you.
Yeah, there you go. And see, brother lives there right there at it now.
Yeah.
Uh, I gave him a little heater for it. I bought a new light fixture to hang in there. And so he takes care of it. When he goes out to his truck to go to
Yeah.
work, he can see the light if the light's on.
Yeah. I don't
'Cause
know. I just hope I don't get any snow. I don't want none.
I don't want it.
Because when it snowed here, hell, that's when my car was in the shop. I was like, I can't go nowhere no how. Uh-huh.
But you can have all that snow you want, because I damn sure don't want a bit of it.
I don't want it. I've had enough. And then people that live in like Pensacola, Florida, they got about 8 or 9 inches or more.
Wow.
That was pretty funny last year. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow. We get mostly ice is our problem.
Yeah. Well, we got snow and it pretty much shut all the roads down. And they said, I guess if you work and you had to have something from your employer to be out there, because there was all kinds on the main road between Loves and stuff. There was stuff with trucks where they couldn't get up the roads and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Hot Springs Village auctioned off all of their snow plows.
We ain't got none.
Well, back when I was working, we had a general manager that thought it was dead inventory, which it was used when we'd get any kind of accumulation of whatever, they would use it. So it wasn't like it was not ever being used. Because we get snow every year, every other year, but it's not major snow. They could run a blade on it and be done with it.
Yeah, because across the river they were putting sand on some bridges.
So
do anything.
This general manager decided he's going to sell everything. He sold my little international dump truck I used to have down there to plant, which I used it every week. It might have only been for 2 days a week, but I still used it. And anyway, what happens that next year we got a foot of snow, didn't have a single plow in inventory. They had backhoes, they had motor patrols out there on the highway, on the roads, trying to clear roadways, and they had one sand spreader left. They sold everything. You talk about that general manager getting his ass chewed out by the board of directors. It was hilarious.
Sure.
So, needless to say, they had brand new plows, snow blowers, or sand blowers, sand spreaders, brand new ones in inventory, ready for the next year. Yeah, they had a big selling, and every year they have auctions there, and they sell, like the golf courses every year get new lawnmowers, new tractors, whatever they need on the golf courses. Well,
hey, Roy, you can go get your new lawnmower.
Well, I don't need no more.
I didn't say you. I said Roy.
Oh yeah, Roy. Well, they got to stay in budget. So what they did, now they don't buy their inventory that they keep on hand. They rent it for a year and then have it replaced with new ones every year.
Yeah.
And so, but before they started doing that, every year they'd have an auction. They'd sell off the golf carts, the lawnmowers, tractors, whenever they'd get old. Well, I got one from one of the golf courses there for the plant, a golf cart. I drove the wheels off that thing. I did not walk anywhere at the plant. I had the weed eater hung out the side, weed eating the fence line with it. Did not walk anywhere. If I had to walk 10 foot, I used a golf cart.
Oh yeah.
And finally, I finally blew the motor up on it. Or something happened. Yeah, I blew the motor up. And my boss, he ended up giving it to his son-in-law's father, and he put a motorcycle motor on it.
Good grief.
And so I didn't. They didn't replace it. I was wanting to get one of them mules. That way, because there we had to use a pickup truck to take motors and them electric motors or aerators, whatever. We had to use a pickup truck to take it from the top of the plant down to the bottom. And I told if you bought us a mule, we wouldn't have to be using the truck all the time. All we'd have to do is load it on that mule. And they just didn't see being feasible there to plant. So we never got one. I said, fine, we'll just use that air conditioned pickup truck then. When it's 100 degrees outside and us sweating outside, we can work for 5 minutes and take a break for 30. How's that sound?
Oh yeah. Well, I know at night we're getting down in the 50s, and then last several days was in the 70s, but we'll see 80s.
Yeah, we've been mostly in the 80s, right? There's been a few days we've been right at 90 degrees. Right now it's 80 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll say. I don't know what it is here.
Well, there's Miss Becky. How are you, girl?
It was 75 a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right though. I'll take it.
This kind of weather I can tolerate.
Yeah. Like people don't understand, they're like, you've been in the South how long? You're not used to the heat. I said, nope, never have, never will.
And the older you get, the worse it is.
Oh yeah.
It's not like you get used to it. You just
you
tolerate it, do the best you can, and then when you get older in age, then you want to stay indoors where there's air conditioning.
Oh yeah. We'll see. We'll see what kind of winter we have this year.
I come across these little things. I was trying to figure out what used clips my important things here at the desk. Well, I come across these on their local Walmart page.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Walmart got everything. These little clips, you see that?
Let me put my glasses on. Yeah.
Got a little clip there. Well, you pull these rubber ends off.
Looks like something you jump a battery with.
Yeah, you can use them to clip papers together with.
Yeah.
Instead of stapling or paper clips, use these.
79 degrees right now.
Up here the camera. Our cookie packages, potato chip packages.
Oh yeah, because I don't know what my mom gave me a bunch of they're like different colored ones, but not like that. And they're pretty much.
This is what I normally using, these right here.
Yeah.
And they work great, but they're expensive.
I don't know what they are. These little plastic things, and they're different colors, and you can if you lose your thing to tighten your bread, I'm like, well, I don't know where it went. Let me just put this on there.
There you go. Well, you pull that little rubber end piece off, and there's a hole. Get a screw and screw it to your desk. I've got these things all over this desk. But you buy a whole package of these for less than $10, and I can't remember.
Yeah.
10 or 12 in a package, they're well worth the money.
Yeah, you can use one as a hair clip to keep the hair out of your eyes.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I got to cut my hair off. Yeah, all this around my cap line below my cap is hair. Above it ain't none.
Yeah, when it starts growing up the back of the neck, I'm like, oh, time for a haircut.
I hadn't worried about my hair here lately. I've just let her go. But anyway,
Yeah.
I got a doctor's appointment Thursday. I got to get all this taken care of.
Yeah.
I got to shower, shave, and cut my hair.
Yeah. That'll work. Come on, everybody. Welcome to the Columbus Day stream.
$75. You know, in the bedroom, I keep my on my window unit at 70, which is comfortable for me sleeping. I use a comforter year round. I don't sleep with normally a t-shirt and shorts on, and I stay comfortable. I got that floor heater that I put up, and so I'm good to go. Summertime, I still use my comforter and have it set at 70 degrees, and I'm comfortable. I don't have to worry about not sleeping being too hot.
Yeah.
That's the thing about comforters.
Especially when it starts cooling off, and then 10, 11 o'clock at night, the air doesn't come on that much because it's cooler outside.
Right. And in fact, by the time I get back to the bedroom, I just turn the fan on the air conditioner. I don't even have the cooling on the air conditioner going. And it's fine. It's good. Like I say, it's been in the 50s in the morning time.
Yeah. We got that last week and this week. It cools off at night.
Yeah. It's been this way for a few weeks now. There's been a couple of nights that it's been in the 60s.
Yeah.
But very few. They've been mostly in the 50s, which I'll take any day.
And then November 2nd at 1 in the morning, well, 2 o'clock in the morning, it'll go back being 1 in the morning. And then it'll be getting darker earlier.
Didn't the time change used to be earlier than it is?
Well, it's pretty much been November.
I swore it was like in October at one time.
As long as I can remember, it's always been like the first week of November.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's like my hair, my memory is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Someone will ask me something, and I'll be like, oof, I don't remember that far back.
But Robert, you're not as bad as you eat something. You come in here or in the bedroom and you sitting there. Did I eat?
Oh no, I remember that.
Yesterday, I went to the bedroom yesterday. I took a nap, woke up, sitting there thinking, did I eat? I didn't eat yesterday. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I could not remember for the likes of me if I ate. And that's not the first time that's happened. Luckily, I don't bottom out like I used to. And so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think about it anymore. Used to, I'd have to think about it. If I question whether I ate or not, I would eat. But now I don't have to worry about it. If I don't remember me eating anything, I don't worry about it. I just sit there and go on for the rest of the night. Say, let her go, boys.
Yeah.
Rex, it's 79 degrees here, okay? Right at 80. I have a long sleeve sweater on. I have long legged sleeping breeches on, and my legs are still cold. If it wasn't for the heater being picked up by the microphone, I'd still have that floor heater on.
Yeah. I remember you had it on last winter or something. You were doing one. You were like, wow, why am I so hot?
I,
You forgot it was on.
I know it. That's me. Why am I so uncomfortable? And Cody and his wife and my youngest grandbaby come over last week one day, and I sitting here thinking, why is it so hot? And I didn't even know we were having good conversation. I didn't even think about it. I know they were burning up.
Like
And
sometimes I
I
go to
looked
my mom's house and it'd be warm in there. I was like, man, I feel like a rotisserie chicken.
I turned around and looked behind me, and I seen that heater was still.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That'll get you.
I could not believe I did that. Well, I'm taking the plunge again. I'm switching from AT&T to Straight Talk.
Yeah.
I told Cody that being, I can't do a whole lot for him anymore like I was, and I said,
Yeah.
I tell you what, I looked online, and Straight Talk has a family plan, and you
Yeah.
can get 3 lines for $90 a month. And
Yeah.
each telephone is unlimited. It's not 5 or 10 gigs, and it slows down to 2 gigs
Yeah.
until your next month. It's totally unlimited. You don't have a limitation on it. That's
Yeah.
talk, text, and data, and $90 for 3 lines. And I said I'll pay for that because I'm paying $60-something a month, right at 70 for AT&T. And I told him I'd go ahead and drop AT&T and go to Straight Talk. And Straight Talk's fine. I used it before. You were limited on what I was back then. You had 10 gigs and then it slowed down. Well, I used a lot of gigs working, and so I knew at that point, that wasn't the thing for me. So that's why I always went to AT&T because I get the total unlimited package. And once I seen that you could get that with Straight Talk, I told them I'd just go ahead and we'll get Straight Talk. I'll pay for it every month, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
So, because the only time I would use data or calling is when I'm here at the house and I'm connected to my router for my home internet, and I'm using Wi-Fi. So I don't use the gig. Every month on my phone bill with AT&T, it's 0.1 gigs.
Yeah.
I'm not even using no data, period.
Yeah. What my mom switched to AT&T, and I laugh every time she'll stop by my house because I ain't got no Wi-Fi or nothing. I just use the phone.
Yeah,
I said, well, that's why I didn't switch to AT&T because it doesn't work good at my house.
right. And that's the thing about like me in a mobile home. I don't care what provider you use, you're not going to have good reception or in a mobile home, period. If you got a metal roof, you're SOL.
Yeah, I got a metal roof with that white stuff that you put on it, that cool seal.
Yeah, well, that's what I got on mine too. But I've got the metal siding,
Yeah,
metal,
mine's metal.
all of that business.
And
And
then
so,
I was laughing because we had a storm come through. Was it a month or two? I don't know. I think it was still in August. And I got a thing next to my shed, and it had a little roof on it. And the wind blew it off, and
wow.
we lost power. I went out there. It was pouring down rain. I said, "Oh, let me get this. Let me pull this little roof thing." I pulled on it. My little slide on shoes with the Velcro. I fell right out of my shoes. Fell onto this ladder that was laying flat, and I'm trying to get up. My feet are slipping, and then there's a big clap of thunder. I'm like, oh shit! I got up, ran into the house, man. I was soaking wet. I was like, please don't let no lightning bolt hit my door handle when I touch it. I was like, of course, my daughter, well, why'd you go out there in the rain? I don't know. I thought that was a funny story.
Oh yeah.
People look at me and go, why'd you go out in the middle of that? It was like, I don't know, what do you call them things where you get that heavy wind? It's not a tornado, but you get that strong
Cross
wind.
crosswinds.
Oh, I don't know. It was just a strong wind. And of course, the neighbor next door, I don't talk too much. One day I was going somewhere and he's cutting across from his brother's house. You need your grass cut? No, sir. I got a yard man. And then he was asking me about that roof. He wanted it. I was like, no, if I can get it from behind everything, I'm just going to throw it in that room. He wanted it to put it up to put his lawnmower under. I'm like, yeah, like you know how to do that. I try not to talk to him. If he's outside and says, what's up? I'll say, what's up? But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
They're just, oof, they're just weird on that side. I'm like, oof, no, y'all stay on your property line. No, no, no.
There's I don't talk to anybody. I
Huh.
mean nobody.
I talked to the guy on the back, the first house on the back behind me, because he cuts my grass. And that's about it. And that's about the only person I talk to up here. I keep to myself. Sometimes that's the best way to be.
Very best way to be. I don't even talk to my nephew when he comes up and mows the grass. I don't even go outside.
Well, they're just weird.
I
I'm
talked
like,
to what was it, a month or so ago. He come beating on my. I was done asleep. He woke me up. He's beating on the window, and
yeah,
I freaked out. I got my 380 and went to the back door. And I barely opened it up. And I said, "Yeah," and it was him back there drunk, Scooter Brown. And I said, he hollered back. I said, "What do you want?" And he come to the door. I wasn't gonna open the door. I could tell right away the way he was walking. He was just totally shit faced.
yeah,
And he come to the door and started boo hooing. You know, Charlie Kirk, good man. I thought a lot about Charlie Kirk, and he was at the back door, nearly boo hooing about Charlie Kirk getting killed.
yeah.
And I said, Jeremy, what the hell are you doing? And he told me he's going to the memorial, which he did. But he's back there just tears in his eyes, about to just turn loose. And I said, Jeremy, there ain't a thing you can do about it. All you can do is pray and hope justice will be served. That's it. There's nothing you can do. So why do what you're doing? And he just kept on and stuff. And I asked him. He had a school teacher living with him, and she's a good. From what I've seen and heard, she is a really good lady, nice lady. And I thought Jeremy needs that. And well, she got mad and left. It wouldn't have anything to do with him because of his drinking and smoking pot. Well, I asked him where she was at, and she said, I ain't been with that bitch and I don't know when. I said, what happened? He never would tell me. I said, was it your drinking? He says, why do you say hateful things? I said, Jeremy, I'm not being hateful. I'm just telling you the way it is. And anyway, I finally shut the door. I says, I didn't know who you was, and I pulled my 380 up and showed him. I said, I answered the door with this loaded, ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's what these people don't understand. My marriage that I was in, the last 3 years of it, that's what I had to do. I had to protect myself. And I live with that to this date. That's why I carry it with me everywhere I go. I got it right here. Well, it's in the bedroom. I've already went to bedroom and come back out. But I carry it with me from room to room because that's why I have cameras all the way around my house. I don't know if she's going to be back and what she's going to do. That's been, 5 years ago? 4 years ago? Nearly 5 years now. And so I have to protect myself because that's how bad it was. And he doesn't realize that. My brother, nobody realizes what I'm dealing with. And I told him, I said, I'm packing right now and I've got it ready to go. And he, come on, you don't need to be. I said, well, I didn't know who you was. And
you don't. Why I got those censored light bulbs out there. When it gets dark, comes on stays on when it gets dark and goes off dusk to dawn.
Well, my front porch, I can't do that because of bugs.
Yeah.
They just on and off.
Yeah. Once it gets dark, it stays on and it'll stay on till the sun comes up and then it goes off. You just screw the dusk to dawn light bulb in and turn your switch on. That's all I do. You know, I figure if you got your yard lit up, that'll keep people from wanting to come in your yard at night.
It don't work.
Well, I guess. When they see my size, they like, oh, I better not go in his yard.
Well, the problem is where I live at, my house.
Oh, I know. You way in the country.
I have people coming through the woods to my property.
Oh yeah.
And so it don't matter. I've never met a honest crackhead thief. Never.
No.
And unfortunately, there's 2 trailer parks within walking distance of my home through the woods. So,
yeah, I know. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. Karen, the problem is, I don't know if anyone has lived in a home with somebody. I hate to say it. I hate to pull out skeletons in the closet, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to downgrade her because it wasn't her fault.
Yeah, I
it's
know what you're talking about.
just something that it's a mental illness, and
Yeah.
I lived with it for 3 years, and
Yeah, I know what
I
you're
know
talking about.
I know what can happen. They people like her illness that have it, they get so stable that they tell themselves and convince themselves they don't need to take their medication, and
Yep.
they quit taking it. Then before you realize it, it's too late, and they refuse to take it. They literally refuse to take their medication, and they have so many ways to make you think they've taken it. You can sit there and watch them put it in their mouth,
Yeah.
and they've taken their medicine, their dose for the morning and the evening. They hadn't. And I didn't realize this. The nurse told me, because I'd have never thought in my life that people would do this, and she was doing that. And you may have heard cheeking, cheek. They
Yeah.
put
Or
the pills in
yeah.
their cheeks.
Or put it under your tongue, and then when nobody's looking, spit it out.
Well, that's the thing. I'd make her lift her tongue up,
Yeah, they did
and
that.
I wouldn't see a pill there, so I assumed she was taking medicine. She's stuffing it in her cheeks,
Yeah, that
going to
was
the
funny.
bathroom, spit it in the toilet, and then flush it. And the
Okay.
nurse told me that that's what she was probably doing. And I said, I never even thought about doing it, because I told the nurse I was having her show me under her tongue. We would sit at the dining room table, and I'd watch her take her morning dose and her evening dose.
Yeah. 'Cause
And
I remember back in 17, they took me from Target to the hospital. And there was one medicine I was supposed to take twice a day, but I was taking it once a day. And they gave me one at the hospital, and I said, I'll take it when I get home. No, you take it before they discharged me and made me lift my tongue and everything.
yeah,
I was like, wow, dang, y'all make me feel like I'm in jail.
well, that's the thing. You can't say, you have to prove.
Oh, I
And
know.
these people deal with it every day, and they
Oh,
know
I
what
know.
to look for. And someone like me, I wouldn't even thought about it.
Yeah.
And when someone with her condition does not take her medicine, they have to get them stable back on their medications, is to put them in
Yeah.
in-house treatment. I think it's called inpatient treatment.
Yeah.
Well, there's
I know what you're
in
talking about.
Arkansas, you can't forcibly put a person in there. It takes a judge to do it.
Yeah.
Like me, I was her husband. I could not make her go to a hospital. I could not. So they could put him. The judge can put him in the hospital for, I think, up to 8 days.
Yeah.
But with someone in her condition, you couldn't keep her longer than that.
Yeah.
And so a week to 8 days, I'd get a phone call. I'd have to go to the hospital, pick her up. I was going to Texarkana, Arkansas. I was going all over the state of Arkansas, having to go pick her up because Hot Springs didn't have the capacity to admit her.
Yeah.
And so like 6 times I had to do that. And finally, and I'd applied for a divorce because I just couldn't live with it no more. Could not. Getting back door, front window busted out, having to call the police just for my protection.
Oh, yeah.
She just wasn't the same when she was off medication. And there at the end, last time I seen her, she didn't even know who I was.
Yeah.
she was cussing me and what are you doing in my house? Blah, blah, blah. This is my house. And, but I'd filed for a divorce, and the judge, it was right there. A new judge got elected. And so the former judge was familiar with my case, but he could not judge on it.
Yeah.
The new judge, my attorney says, well, since it's a new judge in office, it's going to be a while. With the last court appearance I went to, and the judge I dealt with him in her case with me for a year, and he was really familiar with what was going on. And I told him in a previous hearing that I'd filed for divorce, and he asked how the process was going. I said, well, that my attorney said it's going to be a while because of the new judge. He paused for a minute, and he says, well, I'm fixing to take a recess for 5 minutes here, and I'll see these two defendants, and then I'll call for a recess. Well, when he left the courtroom for the recess, right before he got back, I got a text from my attorney, and she said, good news, the judge signed off from it. So he went into his quarters, called the new judge, explained the situation, and she granted the divorce right then. And so when I was legally divorced from her, that's when he could actually admit her. And that was the last I heard. I hadn't heard no more, but he had admitted her for a minimum of 10 months in a mental hospital.
Yeah.
And the only way she could get out is if her mother come from Memphis to pick her up and bring her home. And her mother was going to be the responsible for medical care and all of that. And so that's why I fear, because at 10 months, I don't know if she got out or not. And bad situation. It was really bad. But, I'm over it. I do, in a way, kind of, well, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I get scared at night, because I do. But it's not, as the years go by, it's not as bad as what it was at first. And hey, Valerie, how you doing, girl? And but I still, once I go to sleep, I'm fine. If something happens while I'm asleep, I'll never know. But that's why I bought cameras for in the house too. So now I have 2 cameras inside my home. And but yeah, that's why I was talking about, Karen. It's bad. Once they get to a point that they don't think they need medicine, then they just flat out stop taking it. And I know there's a lot of people that deal with this situation. I feel sorry for the loved ones that are dealing with it, and I feel sorry for the patients too, because it's not their fault that they have the illnesses that they have, but they don't realize the situation that they create by doing what they do. For instance, me, of course, and family. Nobody knew she had this illness, because when she was on her medication, she was just as normal as you or I. And I'm not saying I'm normal by all means, but you'd never know it. And when people found out, even my family, the only way they knew about it was I'd have to call them for help. That, my nephews and my dad. not my dad. My dad had already passed, but my brother and his two boys, I'd have to call them for help. And so nobody knew about it. When they found out, they just couldn't believe it because she just never even appeared to be a problem like that. And but yeah, I feel sorry for people that have this illness. It's not their fault. You know, a lot of people say, well, it's due to taking drugs or alcohol. No, I hate to differ. You know, there's things in our genes, you know, our build up in our bodies and minds that we can't control. And I hate to say it, but her mother was just, she wasn't as bad as she was, but she had problems too. She wouldn't go over the Arkansas River Bridge. It took an act of Congress for her to come to Arkansas for Michelle and our wedding. She just nearly refused to. But anyway, enough said about that. But yeah, we're good. We're all good here. And yes, ma'am, that's what it's called, chemical imbalance. Yeah. But anyway, that's the last time I've talked to Jeremy. Well, actually, it's not. He come up the next day apologizing. He said he didn't remember a thing that happened. I called the cops on him. That's how bad he was. I told him I'm fixed to call the cops. Don't do that, Unc. I said, get your ass home in bed. No, I'm not going to bed. I said, fine. I called the cops. And before the cops came, my brother and his youngest son, my brother's youngest son, walked over the house because I called my brother and says, you need to come get your son. You know, and he says, yeah, I know. He stopped at my brother's house first, beating on the door, and he didn't answer the door. He hollered through the door, go to bed. And I said, well, I called the cops because I just can't deal with it. So we had us a good one up here on the hillside that night. But he come up here the next day and he apologized. He said, I don't remember any of this happening. I said, yeah, Jeremy, you remember the cop coming and talking to you? Yeah. I said, well, then that ought to tell you something.
You know.
Yeah. It is so quiet. My youngest nephew, he lives over here on this side. My brother lives right in front of me, and my oldest nephew lives down there to the right. So we're all right here together. And the only one that's not here is my son, and he's maybe 4 miles down the road. And it's my youngest nephew. He's got this big speaker system over there, and they play video games online. And I'm surprised you hadn't heard it already. He doesn't have it going loud right now because his dad's home from work trying to sleep. But if my brother's not here, he is just pounding away. And then he'll get off the video game, and he's got a dirt bike he rides. He'll get on that dirt bike, and it's as loud as his speaker system is. And he'll come right there in front of the house and through the woods. He's built a trail all the way back in the back of the woods. And he'll just, and I see how our neighbors used to be when my brother and I were growing up. We always had loud motorcycles or the loud stereos in our cars and stuff. And I can guarantee our neighbors complained about it. So we're all being paid paid back for how we were when kids. But other than that, it's quiet. Like right now, the ringing in my ears are so loud because that's how quiet it is here. Every once in a while, I'll hear one of the cats walk across the floor with this flooring I got now. Carpet, you couldn't hear, but now with this flooring I got, them little cats' claws hitting that floor, walking across. Of course, they're 50 pounds apiece. They're loud. I don't think I would want to be young again, Karen. I've had a good life. I really have. You know, when I was really young, we had a hard life because my parents didn't have a whole lot of money. And but my dad worked hard and gave up the alcohol, and he got a really good job. And he was the general manager for 32 years. And after he got that position, we lived real comfortable. And so I had a good childhood from that point on. And then as a young adult, I had a good life. You know, I was married once before, and she liked to party and I didn't. So that ended up divorced. But everybody has good and bad times in life, and I'm that way. But to go back, to be young, to go all through that again, not knowing what I know now, there's just no way I'd want to do it. I would not want to do it. And that's the thing. When I was young, I was always told you always remember the bad things the older you get. The good times, they're hard to remember. And so through my lifetime, that's proven to be correct. Yeah, there's times I do remember good times, but the bad times outweigh them, if you understand. And to go back and do it again, not knowing what I know, just no way. Yeah, I know I turned 62. 62 on the 10th of October. And maybe in 98, I would go back to 1998. But before that, no way possible. Yes, and that's me. I have I'm talking some of the best memories of my life. Kind of, not consecutive, just all through my life, good and bad times. When my mother passed away in 2002, she died on January 6, 2002. I took my dad under my wing. I took care of my dad. My brother and I both did, but every Friday, I worked Sunday through Thursday. So Friday mornings, I would go to Dad's house, which is where my oldest nephew lives, right here to the right down the hill. That's my parents' house. And I'd go to his house. I'd get him out of bed, and I'd take him for breakfast. And I did that most of the Fridays up until he passed away. And take him to breakfast, go to Walmart, get his grocery shopping done, or take him to wherever he needed to go. I would drive him there. And I got so close to my dad. And before my mom passed away, my mom was my best friend. She was the one I was able to talk to. I'd call her on the phone. She called me every morning. Curtis, this is your mother. to this day, I still hear that voice. I hear her voice in my ear every day. And I'd be able to talk to her, but I don't care what it was. She was my best friend. And when she passed away, that was a big part of me that died. And I wasn't able to grieve. And because I stepped in and I stepped in to take care of my father. And that's
I'm gonna go back to the comments, okay?
Okay.
All right. See you in a minute.
Okay. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate you coming up here with me.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye. But a year after Mom passed away, my dad, one Friday morning, we were out and he got a puzzled look on his face. And he says, you know what? I've been here being selfish because my wife died. But in reality, I never let you grieve for your mother. Your mother passed away, and you have never once were able to grieve about us. Dad, there will be a time when I will, because you're more important right now to me than having to grieve. Your health and welfare is more important than I am. And that's when it started. Every Friday. We got so close together. He went to town and bought a brand new motorcycle. What was he? 70, 69, 70 years old, goes to town and buys a brand new motorcycle. He calls me on the phone, and I was at work. He says, what are you doing? Working. So you can come out, take off a little bit early, come get me? Oh my gosh, what happened? And I says, what's wrong? He says, ain't nothing wrong. I bought a brand new motorcycle. What? He says, yeah, him and Plumber were talking and decided he needed a motorcycle. Oh my gosh. He says, I want you to come to town and ride it through town. And when we get to the DeSoto Park, I'll get on it and ride it home. Oh, Dad. And so that's what I did. I drove into town, got on a motorcycle, drove it through town at the DeSoto Park on the outskirts of town. I pulled in that park, and he drove my car from the dealership to there, and he gets on the motorcycle. So I'm following him home. I'm going, you know what? That's pretty fun, because I hadn't rode a motorcycle since 1982. And that was the last time I'd rode one. I didn't want to have no more to do with them. I sold them. I worked on them. I rode them, but I did not want no more to do with it. Well, after I got on that bike he bought, that's pretty nice. So on the way home, I called the wife up and I says, what do you think about me buying a motorcycle? What made you want to buy a motorcycle? So, well, Dad just bought one. And she says, well, if that's what you want to do, you go ahead and buy one. I said, all right. So I called the dealership up and talked to her about it, and she ran my credit and all that, and I got approved. And I said, well, can you have it ready? It was on a Friday is when Dad bought his, so it was Friday. Okay. I said, could you have it done, serviced and ready to go in the morning? She says, well, yeah. I said, okay, well, you have all the paperwork ready and have it serviced ready to go. I'll be by in the morning and pick it up. So we run to town, and it was on Thursday. See, my brain don't work all the time. Because I was off on Fridays. Friday was my Saturday. And so I run to town, picked it up, rode it home, and we rode every Saturday. Dad, the wife, me, and we hooked up. We had like 7 other people riding our little gang. We had a little gang, and we even had our own vest. I had to pull mine out. I had vest. I had the chaps. I had one of them big old dirty Harley riders, and we did that. And for a couple of years, we was in town on the bikes one night, and there's a car that pulled out of a side road in town and got T-boned. I mean, right in front of us. And the wife seen that and scared her, which I don't blame her, you know. And so after that, she wouldn't ride motorcycle no more. And so I kind of felt guilty about riding and not having her be with us. And so Dad at that time had decided he was too old, which he was too old to be actually riding there's a difference between a trike and a motorcycle. So he had a motorcycle. Yeah, he laid it over several times, but luckily he never got hurt. And he had decided he was too old, so he was sitting there in the shed, never being used. So my brother, he wrecked his bike. He hit a deer, and my dad let him have the motorcycle, so he started riding it. And brother's coming out of town one night, and he hit a deer. 2 bikes, 2 deer. And so I ended up, I was still paying on that motorcycle, and I just wanted to get the money to pay it off. I didn't want to make no money. So brother talked to a guy he knew from the Survivors Club, and I told him. He called me and he asked what I wanted. I said, I just need payoff on it. And he asked how much. I just told him how much. He said, okay, I'll come out and look at it. And he looked at it and he said, I'll take it. He goes back to his truck, the center console. He always has a nice big old pickup truck, either king cab or a 4-door. He pulls out an envelope full of cash big enough to choke a horse. He peels out $100 bills, what I wanted, and he still had a big old envelope packed full of $100 bills. I thought to myself, I should have asked for $1,000 extra. He'd have paid it. But I was just happy to get rid of it, because I was paying for something I was not using. Every month, I was having to buy every year I was having to buy a new battery because I wouldn't go out there and start it up to keep the battery charged. So I was always having to buy a new battery for it. And got that off. And I hadn't been on a bike since, and I can't no more. I'm done with all of that stuff. But we had fun. We took trips to Branson, Missouri. We started out on a trip to Memphis, and it was so hot. I'm talking, it was 110 degrees at least, just miserable hot. We stopped at a gas station, sat in the air conditioner for a while, and went outside, got back on the bikes, and headed back home because it was just miserable hot. Them are the days you wish it would rain. You know what I'm saying? And we weren't these fair weather riders. We rode during the summertime or the wintertime. We'd have so many clothes bundled up. I'd have ski mask on. I'd have scarves on. I'd bought a full face helmet. I never did wear helmets except for the wintertime. And I had a helmet, but the whole front of it flipped up. It wasn't just a shield. The whole front flipped up. And so I put that helmet on, wrapped that scarf around my neck and on the bottom of the helmet to keep it from the air getting in between the scarf and the helmet. Have big old northern winter ski gloves on, so big you just barely able to control the hand controls, and freezing to death still. Made a lot of stops to find heated rooms. You know, we'd get out there and ride because we were enjoying ourselves. And but yeah, we had some really good memories on the motorcycles. We'd go up to Branson. There's just a motel that we'd go to, and they had a big courtyard. It's down below. It was right beside I don't remember the name of it, a big buffet place. And the motel was right next to it, down a hill. And at the bottom, we was at the backside. And at night, the motel would have either somebody singing, a comedian or something. They had entertainment right there in the courtyard. So we just pulled a chair out from the motel room and sat right there in front of the room and watch or listen to whatever was going on. So, and it was cheap. We had discounts. I can't remember what it's called, but we had, we got discounts on rooms. And so that's why we kept going to the same one. They had a continental breakfast in the morning. You know, I know most continentals aren't that good, but at least it's something putting in my belly. Just a lot of fun. Yes, it was. And see, that's the thing. We have good times and bad times in life. And them were the good times. You know, I wasn't never able to do that with my father up until my mom passed away. And before mom passed away, my mom, you know, she'd come up here at night. I'd bought a telescope, a Bushnell reflector scope. And I'd go outside and keep up with planet movements, stars, you name it. And I enjoyed that. I'd freeze my cojones off, but I was having fun. And my mom would come up here and sit in the lawn chair right there beside me, and we'd just sit there and talk, have a good time and stuff. And that's what we did. You know, my wife would be sitting here in the house in the heat while I was out there with mom freezing our butts off. But that was quality time for us. And then, like I said, when she passed away, I stepped into a son, into a parent position with my father, because he didn't know how to take care of any of his business. And so I stepped in my brother and I, but majority of it I took care of, you know, that I taught him how to write a check. Yeah, he was a general manager, but he didn't know how to write a personal check. Mom did all that. Hey, Brandon, what's happening? And so I had to teach him all of that. My dad couldn't even boil water. He couldn't boil water. I had to teach him how to cook. So that's what I did. And I enjoyed doing it. You know, I was helping my father. And see, the times have changed. I can't do what I used to. You know, I'm more or less house ridden. I don't go nowhere. I can still drive if I want to, if I have to, but I prefer not to, because I don't want to be out there anymore. And so my son has stepped up. He's the one that helps me. But that's all good said and done. And yeah, it's all good. I sat here on my birthday, my boy. That's when they come over, my boy and stuff. And I bought one of them Pepperidge Farms coconut cakes. Well, on the morning of the 10th, I got up. I ordered, and I had a cake here, and I didn't know that they were going to come over. I just assumed they'd call me and stuff. So I sat in here. I got that cake out of the freezer and cut me a chunk of it off and put it in the microwave to thaw it out and come here to the desk. I sat down here. I sang happy birthday to myself. It ain't my birthday cake. That's what I've done the last, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Because life as I knew it is not the same. Hell, I don't celebrate holidays, period. My holidays getting to the bathroom and pissing before I piss down my leg. That's a holiday for me. I shouldn't have said that. My cousin, I don't ever see her anymore. She is my dad's age, and but we still communicate on Facebook. And she wished me a happy birthday, and she said I wished we could have one more time to have a family get together, because that's one thing we used to do when my grandmother was still living, was we'd have family get-togethers. About every weekend, we'd go to one or the other's house. And I have a lot of cousins, a bunch of family. And not, oh God. But we were every weekend going to one or the other's house. And we'd have a big old to-do. Mostly cookouts, whether it's barbecue or grilling or catfish. I love catfish. And I had a couple of cousins, they go up trot lining and catch a freezer load of catfish. And about once a month, we'd have a fish fry. I couldn't wait for that time of month because I love catfish. Homemade fries cooked in the cast iron Dutch oven out on the fire and stuff. Homemade hush puppies. You know, oh, it was so freaking good. There wasn't nothing bought from the store. It was all homemade stuff. And just really good eating. I could not. I wish, and she said that's what she wished we could do, is go back and do things like that. I said, Linda, I'd love to. There's just no way I could do it anymore. I just could not. And she says, you know, when our mothers and grandmothers passed away, all of that, we stopped doing it. And there was a couple of cousins that tried to keep it going, and they did for a few years. That's on the Richardson side. Now, on my grandmother's side, the Ward side, I think they still do it. They may haven't done it. They may have just started back doing it. They may have stopped during the COVID, but they'd have it every year. And I didn't like going to theirs because they'd always do it at a barbecue place out on the west side of Hot Springs. And That's a long ways for me to drive. So I would never go. Brother always asked, "You want to ride with me?" Nah, I'm good. So I just not go. So I hadn't seen any of my family in, well, since my dad passed away. Hey, when that was June 5th, 2017. He passed away on my brother's birthday. So my brother has to live with that the rest of his life. Well, thank you, Karen. Thank you for stopping in and talking with me. I appreciate it. Anytime you see us doing this chat room, you're more than welcome to come in here and talk with us. Good to see you. Yeah, he passed on brother's birthday, and we buried him on my anniversary. Yeah. So brother lives with that every year. I never call him on his birthday and wish him happy birthday because I know it's hard for him to deal with that. I called him last year and talked to him about it. He says, yeah, it bothers him still, but you know, he's dealing with it. How long have I been on it? Oh man, almost 3 hours. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming in here and listening to all my garbage. You can watch the video after stop the live feed. Well, y'all give your comments, give your, where are you at? Get over here. Let's do this. There you go. Like and subscribe if you're on the YouTube side. And if you're on the Facebook side, go in there and go to our page and like and follow. I appreciate each and every one of you guys more than you can ever imagine. Without you, there wouldn't be us. Mr. Dennis Adams, he might do one later today. And if not, he might do one tonight while he's working. He's driving tonight. And look out for Andrew. He'll be streaming too, I'm sure. But y'all guys take care of yourselves, and thank you for coming on here and watching and talking with me. And I'll catch you on the next one, okay, guys? Have a good evening. Wrong button, huh?